So hi guys, Zab here. So I'll be walking you through the SkyMavis developer portal. So to get started, first we would need to have a Ronin wallet in our browser. So if you're using Chrome, you could go to Chrome Web Store and search Ronin wallet, and you could be able to add it on your browser as an extension. But I could also link it down below to make sure that you will be able to download the right one. So now we are in the legitimate and the official Ronin wallet extension. So let's add it to our browser, add it to Chrome, click add extension, and now we could be able to see it here. So we could pin it and let's open it. So just click get started. So here we will be prompted by two options. So you could import an existing wallet if you already have an existing one using your secret recovery phrase, or you could create a new one. So let's assume you don't have any wallet on Ronin. So let's click on I'm new, click allow tracking. So we'll be creating a password here in order for us to create a wallet. So to make sure that the password that we will be having is the strong one, So type it in at least 8 characters. Click on create wallet. The second step would be our secret or a secret recovery phrase or our seed phrase. So it's very important to know that we should not share, we should not give it to anybody, to anyone. It's something that we should keep it in our own. And I usually write this on paper on or in a notebook. So make sure that you're able to save it. So just click reveal seed phrase and you could be able to see it here. So I'll be censoring it out. It should not be seen by anybody. So make sure that you're able to save it because in the next step, they will ask some of the words here from our seed phrase or secret recovery phrase. So yeah, just like what I mentioned, they're asking for some of the words coming from the seed phrase. So the first word, the fourth one, the eighth one, and the 10th one is actually kind of random on what word they will be asking. But just type it in. So that's the reason why I told you to make sure that you're able to save it out. So that's it. So it's that simple. You now created your wallet on Ronin Network. So Ronin, your wallet is like a passport for your journey in the ecosystem of Ronin. So it's something that you would use in order for you to create transactions, in order to interact with the Ronin apps and ecosystem. So it's really important that you already have it as we go through our building journey in the Ronin network. So now your Ronin wallet is already created. Let's now move on, heading through and navigating through the newly released SkyMavis developer portal. So it's something that I'm very excited about to share with you guys because their portal or their developer console is very user friendly, even for those non-technical individuals or for those individuals who are still trying to learn, still trying to navigate through on how they could get started building and developing in the space. So to go there, we would need to search developers with an S, that's skymavis.com. So here we will be prompted with two options or two choices, I would say. So we have here developer console and we have here API reference. So we don't have any kind of applications yet, so we would need to go to developer console first for in order for us to create an application. And here, we would need to log in. So one of the perks of having a wallet is that you're able to use it as a login instead of using like other accounts or creating a new account on SkyMavis. But feel free to use other options here if you feel like it. But feel free to have your Ronin wallet as your method of logging in. So you could click on Ronin wallet. You could sign this request. in order for us to connect your wallet to this console. So click on confirm, click allow, and then let's wait. We could skip this, but we could uh, click on get started. So they will be asking a few questions here to kind of understand what's our goal is in uh, looking into the developer console. What's our mission? What is it we're trying to do or we're trying to build? So we're just clicking all of this stuff because we're gonna building all of those things as we go through our building journey, and click next, and then you may choose what applies to you. So it could be no experience at all, less than 2 years, or more than 2 years. Personally, it's more than 2 years for me, but let's go on with no experience. And that's it. You may start building now on the SkyMavis developer portal. So head on, click on start building. So now we are able to create our application. So click on create application, and we will be needing to give this application a name. So you don't need to overthink it. It could be the name of your dog, name of your cat, or your name, and you could change this and rename this application anytime you wish. So it could be like, for now, Zap application. I could just rename it later on if I wanted to do so, and click create. And that's it. We already have now an application here in the Sky Mavis developer portal or developer console. So in here, we could see that here's my application name, the rate limit tier, meaning later on we will be touching into it. So there's a rate limit on the API request that we will be having, and also the date, and also the API key. So we would need to copy this as we will be needing it later as we try things out on the API endpoints and references. And we also have here some actions. So we could rename it as mentioned earlier, and we could actually regenerate an API key again, or we could delete this if ever we would wanted to do so. So uh, I recommend that you don't share your API key to anybody unless that you want them to use it. But you can regenerate this anytime you wanted, or you wish to do so. So feel free to do such actions if necessary. So now we have our application. Make sure to copy it, copy the API key as we will be needing it later. So after that, go through API docs section, and in here we will be seeing that there is a request rate limit. So these are the limits for each of the API endpoints or the API requests that we will be having within the different endpoints that we have here. So maybe to give you uh, a little bit of walkthrough to the different parts or different things we have here, you might be overwhelmed. So we could go first on the guides section. So here we could see that it's very simple. It's very uh, user friendly, direct to the point. It's not that very kind of overwhelming or technical. So even non technical individuals could understand what's going on here, contrary or comparing it to other docs that I've been able to see. So actually here you could see the showcase part, and what you could see here is some sample builds on what kind of applications or things that you could build using all of these resources. So it kind of show you what kind of things or possibilities that you could do using all of those things or resources. So here we have a mixer playground. You could like choose different parts of the axis, from eyes to animation to up to tail, color, or body shape, and so on. And you could be able to create that, to generate that based from all of the things you have inputted here. And you also have a flappy axis, in which kind of like a sample build if ever that you would want to create like a mini game for the community. So those are just the possibilities. It really shows what kind of builds or things that you could do within this developer console or within the resources that they have been able to provide. So there are really other things here that you could check out, and I believe that will be really helpful for you as you go on with your journey. And some of the parts of it are already containing some code, but don't be too overwhelmed, right? We're here to navigate through it, to walk through it, to make sure that we are uh, prepared before we go on to the complex, or before we go on to the hard parts of it. So now we could go back to API reference to check things out. So here we could see that there's a lot of API endpoints available here. So we have endpoints for Origin, and we also have endpoints for the Ronin network. So we could see here that there's some endpoints for items, for maps, for fighter, for leaderboards, for battle logs, for burned items, and for cards. And seeing all of this stuff is just great because there's really a lot of possibilities that we could kind of utilize all of these endpoints. Maybe we could, build a Axie management platform or bot, or maybe we could create a mini game for the community, or other builds, that we could be able to do in utilizing all of these resources and endpoints. So we could actually try something out here. So we could go to battle log and get battle logs by user ID. So maybe to give you a little bit of walkthrough to the different sections and different features of this console, or this endpoint specifically. So we could see here, uh, for this specific endpoint, what we want to get is the battle logs of a specific user on Axie Origin. So we have here a couple of fields that we would need, or that is required to be filled out. So we have here a what type of battle logs we would want to see, or we want to be returned as a response, and also the client ID, which is kind of the user ID, in which we will be getting from the main Axie Origin app from Mavis Hub later. And also we would need to also have our API key, which is the one is generated from our application earlier. So here we would need to type in whether PvP or PvE. So let's say it's PvE. And for the client ID, let's fire up Mavis Hub. Yeah, we would need to copy our user ID here on my profile section. So we could go back now, copy this out, or paste this out here, and go back to our developer console to copy the API key of our application. So then we would need to paste it here. And now we're able to complete all of the required fields that we will need to fill out. But there are other fields as well that you could fill out, like the limit or the page, if ever that there's a lot of battle logs that you have been able to have, or there's a lot of games and battles that you have been able to do, and you just want to have, a single page or two pages of that to be shown as a result or response. So what we're trying to do here is just to give you like a kind of walkthrough to this newly released Sky Mavis developer console. So it's kind of very simple. We don't need to do anything complex. We just fill things out here. So this is kind of giving you an idea on how would this resources and endpoints be utilized in creating applications, and what could be the response or the results that we could get based from what is mentioned on the side. So starting very very simple with these things is very essential, and I think Sky Mavis has been able to do a great work and a great job in doing so, being able to introduce individuals and builders here. So actually what really got me interested is this part, the languages part. So here we have a code section wherein there's a lot of choices for different programming languages, and the great thing about it is they have like the majority of programming language out here. So regardless, or no matter what kind of language you're using for building your application or code base, it's all here. So you could, use C or shell, Node, uh, even like even Kotlin, right? Or Objective C for Mac, right? So you could easily, copy this code and be able to paste it on your application and code base. So you don't need to think about how you could integrate this to your current application and so on. So it's quite easy for builders and developers to do such thing. So now we already filled those things out, already filled the required fields. We would need what we would need to do is now to click on try it. So now we see that we don't have any kind of battles for player versus environment or PvE. So actually the account that I've used here is very new. I haven't used it on playing any games yet on Axie Origin. So on your end, it could be way different, but here it's really what we expected it to be. So no battles at all because we haven't been able to use it. But you could actually use your ID of other accounts or other players, maybe your friend or family, to check their battle logs or to check their history of battles or sessions, whether it's on PvE or PvP. So it could be way different of a response for you, but on me, it's what we expected it to be. So we could actually go through other endpoints available here. So we have here a endpoint for blocks. So it's kind of interesting. So we have here for get latest blocks, get block info, get latest block number. So I would be interested to know what's the current block number in Ronin. So what we expect the response would be is that the response would change every 3 seconds, or the number will change every 3 seconds because blocks are mined on Ronin network every 3 seconds. So again, we will be needing to copy and paste our API key. You could always go back to the developer console if ever. So just paste it and then hit on try it, and then that should work. This would be our response. So we have here a number, which is the number that signifies the current block mined currently on Ronin network, or the latest block number currently mined or mined as of the moment. So if we hit on replay request, that should change, right? So the number have changed because again, my blocks are mined every 3 seconds in the Ronin network. So if we hit on replay again, it would change. So you may hit on it every 5 times every a second. So you could check on the request rate limit for that. But we could actually go check on other endpoints available here. So maybe we could check on the current validator info and contract name. I think that will be interesting. So here, what we want to know is the validator information and also the contract name and metadata. So here again, what we would only need is the API key from our application. So we would need to paste it again, and then that's it. We would need to click on try it, and then we could be able to see the responses here, like the address, name, type, icon, source, labels, and so on. So here it's kind of challenging for non-technical individuals to understand what's going on here, right? So in our next video, so it's just this video is more of like an introductory video for the SkyMavis developer portal. So in our next video, we will gonna be touching on creating a very simple build that already have a front end in place, so that all of this code responses or code that we see here that's kind of overwhelming for some individuals to understand is already translated to a more kind of visual and graphic represented result. So in our next video, we will gonna be building very simple using all of these endpoints available here. So for now, you could try on other endpoints available here. Just make sure that you have in mind the request rate limit and also the different fields that is required for you to fill out in some endpoints. So there are some endpoints that might need you to fill out your username or user ID, just like what we did earlier, or your time, or other fields that is required, and most especially your API key. So make sure that you're able to fill that out. Make sure that maybe you could try playing around with some endpoints and some of the fields out there. So I think that'll be it for now. In the next video, we're gonna be building something very simple uh, for the Ronin community, and something that we could try things out, being able to utilize all of this or maybe some of these endpoints. So that'll be it on this video. Thanks a lot everyone for tuning in, and hope that this helped you navigating through the Ronin or the Sky Mavis developer portal. See ya.